Video game remakes or remasters or reboots, basically just taking an older game and bringing it to a newer console. Now there are some people of the opinion that developers shouldn't be remaking older games and instead should be spending their time and effort and money and resources making newer titles for us. Now, while I do slightly agree with that opinion, I also do like it when an older game gets a remake or a remaster for a few reasons. One of those reasons being is when I was a kid, I did not have the luxury of being able to buy every game that I wanted. But nowadays, when an older game is getting remade, I'm able to get it and play it when I missed out on it as a kid. That's one reason I like remakes. It allows people who missed out on playing the game back in the day to play them now. The second reason is sometimes a successful remake can kind of spark interest in an older franchise. For example, we recently got Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time, which was a direct sequel to the Crash Bandicoot trilogy. I honestly think if the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy did not do as well as it did, we probably would have never gotten that sequel to that series. So yeah, games getting remade can be a good thing for an older franchise. And the third reason is, this one mostly pertains to me. It doesn't really affect everyone, but as someone who likes to make YouTube videos as a hobby, I've learned that trying to capture gameplay from an older game on an older console is more difficult than it is on a current newer console. And so having like an older game that I love, that I really want to play, being remastered onto like the PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox One Series X or whatever, makes that whole thing so much easier. And with all that being said, I'm going to be giving you my top 8 games I would love to be remastered on current systems. A couple quick disclaimers: these are games that I would like remade that are honestly probably never going to happen. I'm not going to be basing my picks off of leaks or rumors that, oh hey, there's rumors this is happening. No, I'm just saying, like, I like this game, I want it remade. If it probably never happened, but if it does, that'd be great. One other disclaimer I want to make is that when I am talking about these games, I specifically mean I want physical releases, and not for them to be remakes, not remasters that with slightly better resolution. I'm talking like full-on from the ground up remakes. With all that out of the way, let's get started. So starting off with, at the bottom of the list at number 8, is a series very close to my heart, Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I'm sorry I had to make that stupid joke. And I know what some of you are thinking, Dylan, they already remastered Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 and the other games on the PS4. And you're right, but that's not what I'm talking about. I specifically mean I want Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 completely remade from the ground up in the same style of Kingdom Hearts 3. When you look back at Kingdom Hearts 1 and compare it to Kingdom Hearts 3, they're so drastically different from its combat, its level design, its level exploration. It's such a vast improvement from where the series started. Kingdom Hearts 1 obviously did not have the best platforming. It was very minimal what you could do. The level design was very basic, and that's not against the game itself. You gotta remember, this was back on the PS2. They were very limited to what they could do compared to now. But going from Kingdom Hearts 1 to Kingdom Hearts 3, where the worlds are huger, they are vastly different, there's much more to it. The world exploration and the way you can just go about is majorly improved. There's free running mechanics, the platforming is much better, and overall just world exploration is great. That's why I want Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 to kind of be remastered in the same way Hearts 3 was, just to have that improved level design and combat and world exploration. Like, imagine Tarzan being an actual jungle where you can run up trees, swing through the vines, and swing through the vines good, not like how it was in Kingdom Hearts 2, because that was frustrating as hell. Or the city of Agrabah being an actual city, or Twilight Town being an actual town and not just like a couple zones you go back and forth between. Although I guess some worlds wouldn't benefit too much for that. Like, I don't think they'd be able to do much with Captain Hook's pirate ship. I mean, that was pretty much the entire Peter Pan world in that game. But I still think that would be awesome. And the only reason I say just Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 is because I feel like asking them to do all the previous games would be a bit much. I'd rather just be 1 and 2, because 1 was the start and 2 is my favorite Kingdom Hearts game personally. But I put this at the bottom of the list because I don't think it'll ever happen. Square Enix is much more focused on continuing the series rather than going back and doing the old stuff over again. But I still think it would be cool if it did happen. So number 7 on my list is Mario Galaxy 2, and I put this on here because when they announced the Mario 3D All-Stars collection last year, I was kind of shocked that Mario Galaxy 2 wasn't on there. Like, don't get me wrong, the 3 games we got on there were good games, but I don't get why they didn't remaster the second one with it. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason behind it. I don't have much to say on it other than I would like a remaster of Mario Galaxy 2. But yeah, no, I mean, just playing Mario Galaxy on the Switch would be fun, especially with portable mode, and just having the sequel along with it would be good. Also, side note, are we ever gonna get a Mario Galaxy 3? I've been wondering that for years. I don't know what the deal is with that, but that'd be cool too, I'm just saying. Anyway, number 6 on this list is Luigi's Mansion 1 and 2. So I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. When they announced Luigi's Mansion 3 back at E3, oh god, was it 2018, 17? It was around that time frame. I was excited when they announced that, but I also I was watching with my friends and I looked at them and I go, there was a Luigi's Mansion 2? Yeah, so I don't play a DS, and I didn't know that Luigi's Mansion 2 came out on the Nintendo DS. Or wait, was it the 3DS? One of those basically. You know, you get my point. And so I was very shocked that that they announced Luigi's Mansion 3 when I didn't even know there was a second one. And also the first Luigi's Mansion is a classic on the Nintendo GameCube, and I would just love if they brought that and the second one to the Switch in like a physical bundle. They could even release a bundle with 1, 2, and 3 on the Switch, which wouldn't make sense because Luigi's Mansion 3 came out not that long ago, and I'd be fine if they just did a bundle with 1 and 2. But still, I would like those older games brought to the Switch because 1, Luigi Mansion, the first one is a good game, and 2, I didn't play the second one because I didn't even know it came out on DS, and I didn't play the DS. So I would very much like to be able to play those. So number 5 on the list is another GameCube classic, and that is Paper Mario and the Thousand-Year Door. That game was so much fun to play back in the day. I remember when my mom and I moved in with my stepdad, and he showed me his GameCube, and he let me play some of his games. I started playing Paper Mario and the Thousand Years Door, and it was so much fun. I never actually beat it, which I wish I had, but that was one of the best turn-based RPG games I played on the GameCube. And I did not like turn-based RPGs back then. I was very picky about what it plays. So me saying that now, it says a lot. And I would just love it if they brought that game on the Switch. It would actually be perfect on the Switch because I feel like turn-based combat on a Switch in portable mode is really like convenient, you know? And it's just another GameCube classic that I wish Nintendo would just bring to the Switch, you know? Just remake it, release it, and it will sell. Like, Paper Mario is one of specifically Thousand Year Door, everyone loves that game. It will sell if they remade that. So number 4, where are we at? 4? Yeah, 4 on the list. We're gonna get a little daring. Now, I wanna quickly mention, going into this, that I know that there have been rumors and leaks that the next possible Pokemon games are going to be Diamond and Pearl remakes, which I am okay with because Diamond and Pearl was the games I played right when I dropped off of Pokemon. Now that I'm getting back into it, I'm very excited to be able to play those games on a Switch and kind of just pick up where I left off. Hopefully those leaks are true, but why stop there? Why not push for even more? Let's get a little daring, shall we? I would love it if they remade every single previous Pokemon game for the Switch. Okay? Hear me out. Just hear me out. I know that's a lot to ask, and they probably won't ever do that. But there are so many classic Pokemon games that came out before the Switch on the previous DS consoles, on the Game Boy, and all that other stuff, that bringing them all to the Switch would make so many people happy. So many people would buy that, and not only that, but the people who grew up playing those older Pokemon games now are adults and probably have their own kids that they can introduce those games to. You know, show your kids the classic and all that, right? They could do this one or two ways. They could take every single previous Pokemon game, put it in one bundle, and you buy it and you get them all, and that's just hours and hours of gameplay for people to buy. Or, since the Pokemon series always comes out with 2 versions, like we recently just got Sword and Shield, and then there was Sun and Moon, Diamond and Pearl. Sometimes they get like a 3rd version, which I'm not an expert, I don't know how that works, but one is they could do 2 bundles where it's one of those versions and its counterparts on the other bundle. which means people could choose which ones they want or prefer, or they can just buy both, and Nintendo and Game Freak would make more money. Which, let's be honest, they're a game company. They do want to make money as well as make games. I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. Like, come on, they're a company. That's what they want. But still, I would love to be able to play the classic Pokemon games since I dropped out of the series. I'm trying to get back into it, and I missed out on pretty much everything after Gen 4. And I just would like to play the classics too. You know, I remember my first Pokemon game was Leaf Green, and I don't know. I would just like to be able to play that on my Switch, and as well the other Pokemon games. And speaking of Pokemon, number 3 on my list is Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness and Pokemon Coliseum. Now, you may be thinking, Dylan, you just mentioned Pokemon, why are you counting it separate? Well, that's because these two Pokemon games were games that came out back on the GameCube, but they were not made by Game Freak. They were made by... oh god, I forgot the name, hang on. They were developed by Genius Sonority? I'm hoping I said that word right. But point is, they were Pokemon games not made by Game Freak, but were on the GameCube. So they were technically Pokemon games on a home console before Game Freak made Pokemon on a home console on the Switch. And they were really good games. If any of you have never played it, they had this really cool idea where Pokemon were essentially possessed by darkness, and you had to like purify them when you caught them. And it was just this really cool like idea behind it that I just liked. It was a fun game, and I miss those games. I want them back on the Switch. I don't know if like those developers and Nintendo still like work together, and if they're like allowed to remake that. I don't know what's going on with that, but those were some of my favorite games back on the GameCube, and I would just love it if they were brought to the Switch. So number 2 on my list, I'm gonna cheat a little here and put multiples on this one, but this is all under one franchise, and those are Zelda games. Now, I have a bit of a confession. I'm sure if you've been watching this channel, I'm sure you've heard me say it before. If you know me personally, you know this about me. I have never played a Zelda game. And I know some of you are probably going to be mad that I said that. And to kind of make up for that, I will let you know I am planning on playing Breath of the Wild really soon on this channel. I just had to get to it. But growing up, I did not get to play any of the Zelda games. I did not have an interest in them. I'm just going to be honest. And I know you guys are thinking like, that's crazy. How is this guy not interested in how was this guy not interested in Zelda? Well, I got to remind you all, when growing up, I was very picky about what I played. I only stuck to one genre, and if I ever saw a game it didn't look like anything else I played, I would ignore it. Nowadays, I'm trying to be more open to what I play. Seeing as how I missed out on so many classic Zelda games, there's a lot that I want to play that I hope gets remastered for the Switch. To list a couple off that I would like to play on the channel and just play on the Switch and just hope gets remastered is Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, and Skyward Sword. Those are probably the biggest Zelda games I want remade or remastered or whatever for the Switch. And the thing is, last year it was Mario's 35th anniversary, and so Nintendo had this big event where they announced a bunch of games. The Mario 3D World collection was announced, and it was a bundle of 3 classic Mario games: Mario 64, Mario Sunshine, and Mario Galaxy. I bring this up because this year, actually in February, I think it's like February, fuck, I don't want to be wrong about this, let me look up the date, hang on. February 21st of this year will be Zelda's 35th anniversary, just like how Mario's 35th anniversary was last year. So I'm pretty sure Nintendo is going to do something. They went really big with Mario. They have to go big with Zelda. Like, there's no way they're gonna not do something for Zelda's 35th anniversary. We might get some remakes, we might not, but I'm hopeful we do. I think we're definitely gonna get news on Breath of the Wild 2. Like, they've been really quiet about that. So I think by now we'll hear something about that then. But yeah, I just hope that some of those games get remastered. I doubt all 5 of the ones I want will be remade on the Switch, but I would love to be able to play those on the Switch. And last on this list, number 1 is probably second to Kingdom Hearts, another series that was my favorite growing up as a kid. I loved playing it, and it's another series that's really close to me, and that is Sly Cooper. If you don't know me, my Sly Cooper and Kingdom Hearts are probably my top favorite franchises. I loved playing them as a kid, and Sly Cooper unfortunately is a series that just hasn't really been relevant these days. The last game Thieves in Time came out in, I think it was 2013. And I actually didn't know this until recently, but the Sly Cooper collection and Thieves in Time were not made by Sucker Punch. They were made by Zelda Games. You know, I've actually only played Sly 1 and 2 and 3 back on the PS2. I did not play Thieves in Time yet. But they were some of my favorite games growing up. I absolutely love them, and I would just really love it if they brought that series back. I would lose my mind, because if it did well, we would get more Sly Cooper games, and I miss Sly Cooper so much. I want that series to come back and have some type of revival. And also, someone let me know in the comments, because I don't 100% know how this works, but does Sucker Punch still have the rights to Sly Cooper? Because they were the ones that originally developed those games before, I guess, Zelda Games started doing it. I don't know if Sucker Punch can still make another Sly Cooper game or remake the old ones, but I hope they can. And here's the thing, they did like a little bit of an Sly Cooper Easter egg in their newest game, Ghost of Tsushima. They referenced Sly Cooper, and they weren't even trying to hide it. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, you had to like get the stuff for it and find it, but it's very obviously Sly Cooper. So Sucker Punch hasn't forgotten about Sly Cooper, but I don't know if they're doing anything with Sly Cooper. I mean, maybe they are. Maybe that's kind of like them hinting at like, hey, we know we made Sly Cooper. We might be doing something, we might not. I hope you are, Sucker Punch. But yeah, Sly Cooper, just another favorite of mine. That's why it's like my #1 series that like I want to come back in somehow, whether they remake it or they give us a whole new game. I would just absolutely love that. So those are my top 8 games that I would love remade for current consoles. I know a lot of these will probably never happen, but you never know, right? They could happen, and if they do, it would be great. But let me know down in the comments what games you would like remade. Do you agree with my picks? Do you think some of the games I picked will get remade? Do you think they'll never get remade? Let me know that as well. And as always, have a good one.